Hey everybody, and welcome back to the Chaos Gym. Today we are going to be talking with Mark Garcia, San Jose Regional Champion, just that happened this past weekend. He piloted a Yveltal Maxie's deck, which isn't new by any means to the scene, but it has kind of fallen out of favor and expanded. It used to be one of the most dominating decks that everyone would watch out for. Everyone would have a counter to, everyone would try to be dealing with. But after Arizona, where Greninja took like a dominating force and won that one, and then literally I think there was zero Evital decks in that top eight, which was insane to think about. And then we fast forwarded to um, the other expanded regionals that happened, where um, in Philly, where Trevenant won, and there was one Evital Max season cut. I think there was two other Dark decks, one being Speed Dark, one being Darkatina, which were both not Evital. So Evital was kind of fallen out of favor, and everyone's like, has it finally been answered? Is the answer to Evital existing? Is it done? But in San Jose, five of the top eight spots were taken by Yveltal Maxis. And it's been a long time since a deck has taken that much force and that much domination in a top cut scenario. Mark had a very rough road to go through, taking out previous regional champions Israel Sosa in top 8, Kian Amini in top 4, and one of the better players on the West Coast, Kenny Britton, in the finals. So Mark is no newcomer on the block. As Kian says in his interview, Kian, Mark, and Israel all in the past 5 years have won all of the regionals in NorCal between the three of them. Now looking at Mark's list, it doesn't look like there's anything too weird. Um, he plays three Yveltal EX and only one Darkrai, which is very radically different from Keon's list that we saw earlier this week. He plays the three Compressor and four Male, which is means he's kind of going for the less optimal Maxis go ahead for the Maxis every turn, because playing four Compressor kind of signals that you want to get the Maxis, you want to get your fringe supporters out. Other than that, it looks pretty standard as far as a list goes. He does have one reverse volley, one parallel, not opting to play a third stadium, and as most other Yveltal players do, they played two parallel, one lab has been more of the common build nowadays. But the one reverse volley, one parallel, I'm very interested to see how the reverse volley comes into play. Um, he does have two fighting Fury Belt, one float stone, as opposed to Keon's one muscle, one fighting, one float. I'm very interested to see what Mark has to say, being a multi-regional champion winner, and from what I've heard, he picked up the deck the morning of and just kind of walked into regionals. So let's hear what Mark had to say. Hey everybody, welcome to the Chaos Gym. Today with me I have San Jose Regional Champion Mark Garcia. Say what's up to the people, Mark.
What's up, Chaos Gym?
Tell the people a little bit about yourself for those who don't know.
So I've been playing for about 7 years now with my family, Patrick Martinez and Jason Martinez. We all three of us entered the scene where like Stormfront came in. So I don't know if y'all remember that, but been a Masters for 6 years. I got my invite all six. Oh, actually 5 years. One year I didn't make it to the LCQ, so I didn't make it there, but. Got my invite for 6 years, and from California. I guess I've been under the radar for quite some time. I don't know if you. I'm not as big as Keon and Israel, but you know, I'm here playing.
Winning, obviously.
Yeah, try. Yeah.
All right, so from what you have like a ridiculously good track record of like dominating the past couple of regionals you've been to. How does that like feel going into a regionals?
It feels awesome because my whole philosophy is like just go in and like try to be as efficient as possible. Like I don't travel as much, so the tournaments where I do go, I want to make sure I'm efficient and I choose like the quality of my deck.
For sure. So from what you posted earlier this week, I saw that you kind of just like showed up on Saturday morning. You're like, all right, let's play. Run us through a little bit about how you kind of just showed up. What led you to your deck process?
Yeah, so this is like the least active I've been for Pokemon. Like I usually like like try to play test with my testing group or go to like Arizona regionals. I didn't even go to like Arizona regionals at all. This is like my first big tournament for the year, and I was like, yeah, I bought my ticket in September. I was like, yo. Southwest Airlines gave me like a promotion, $50 one way ticket. I was like, okay, I'll just fly on Saturday because I work now. So literally just had like Kenny Britton, the finalists, John Pham, Ruben, and my little brother Patrick. They were the ones that were testing for me on Friday night. I was talking to Kenny the whole week, like for like an hour each day, just talking about like meta. But besides that, I didn't really like test or prepare as much as I usually do. So I just went in Saturday morning, went to the hotel, I was like, hey guys, because I wanted to play like my Utah winning deck last year,
Hmm.
where it was like a bunch of like max elixirs and dark patches and just like be as consistent as possible.
Hmm.
But they're the ones that told me about like Maxie's Yveltal being like super dominant and having 50-50 matches. So I went
Hmm.
with what they said, and me and John Fan were actually the ones tweaking a lot of like the cards in the deck before we started playing. So
Hmm. All right, so
yeah.
looking at your list, it seems pretty standard for an Yveltal Maxie's deck. Couple
Mhm.
of cute, like I guess weird things like that could be considered awkward. Three compressor as opposed to four. Why'd you make that choice?
Yeah, so it was actually between three trainers mail and four compressors, or four compressors and three trainers mail. And I was actually talking with John about this before, like literally 30 minutes before decks were supposed to be given out. Um, and I just chose the four trainers mail because I just felt like you had more options with that.
Hmm.
If you have four compressors, I mean, you're pretty much not using like the other two. I know you want to be as consistent as possible, but I felt like you could open it more with four trainers mail as opposed to four compressors, if that makes sense.
For sure, yeah, more options, more stuff to do.
Exactly. Like you could use trainers mail towards the end of the game where you can't I mean you're pretty much using your third battle compressor or your second battle compressor to throw away battle compressors.
Yeah, yeah.
So that doesn't I mean I just wanted to be as more efficient with my deck as possible.
Hmm. And I guess like one Darkrai DX as opposed to two that a lot of people have been playing. How do you feel about that? Just the one?
Yeah, so that was actually another tweak that we had. Um, we were deciding our original list had two Evil EXs and two Darkrai EXs,
Hmm.
but I was like, this format's a little bit slower than what it was in Utah. And so what I mean by that is like people aren't using Breakbird as much, and I'd rather open the Evil Tool EX as opposed to the Breakbird Evil Tool because you are faster in terms of like a second attack.
Hmm.
So against Trevenant, I'd rather open Big Bird, or against Greninja, I'd rather open the Evil EX.
Makes complete sense. Yeah.
Yeah. So and then also like a lot of people are playing Gallade, and not a lot of people are playing Night March anymore.
Hmm.
So at that point, I'm just like, well, I just have to watch for my retreating, but I could just literally just go by with one Darkrai or no Darkrai when I play.
Sure, sure. So it just became a retreater as opposed to a secondary attacker.
Yeah, I've never attacked with it at all in the weekend. So
That's impressive.
yeah, yeah,
As far as your stadium count goes, that was another one. Like I said, that's the last question.
yeah,
A lot
yeah.
of people are like, I see a lot of lists playing two parallel, like the one lab, that kind of stuff. Why the
Mhm.
reverse valley?
So Reverse Valley was like a crucial card for me. Um, I figured Silent Lab didn't really do much in terms of like the uses that you're getting out of it. You're playing Silent Lab when you get it, but then there's gonna be times where like okay that hinders you from getting a Maxie's out like on turn one. So it was all like what can I optimize my turn one so I could get my Gallet or my Archeops. And Reverse Valley was one of those cards where like not a lot of people play Reverse Valley, so I could just drop it whenever I want to.
Hmm.
But it was another plus about that. It was like it's like a lot like a lasting plus power for me. So those 70 hits with like Baby Bird against their Baby Bird is crucial because it's a two shot as opposed to like a three shot
Hmm.
where I could do 70-60 for 130 as opposed to doing 60-60 for only 120 and they still survive.
Makes sense.
And it helped against like the Greninja match too. Like I don't know if you watched it, but my last game I double dark patch and I was only left with 160 with my Yveltal EX, and that extra 10 damage was able to knock out the Greninja break for 170.
Hmm. Yeah.
So just like those, it helps with the math.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense. I can see that. All right, so you've got your list. You're ready to go. Run us through day one.
All right, so day one, I mean, I knew the meta. There was nothing different as opposed to the carbinks, but that's about it. So round one, I'm gonna try to like remember the names.
Hmm.
Some like I think a lot of names I might butcher, so bear with me. Round one, I put a guy. His name was Rhino, and he was from Fresno. So I've seen him before, and we actually always play like in terms where we both go to. He was playing Eels Electric, or no, Eels with the Raikou.
Hmm. Yeah,
So,
yeah.
but was that what's like cute with that deck is that he played Galley too.
Okay.
So that was kind of a turning point for me because I was like, okay, easy. I'll just go lead off with like my Darkrai if I can't get Gallade. So he surprised me with like a turn three Maxies, but at that point, like I had like all I had to do was get my Gallades and just Lysander Shamans or Raikous.
Okay. Yeah, yeah.
So it was an easy. It was actually a 1-0. It wasn't a 2-0. But I was able to get my Gallades out, and it was a long game one. Round two, I played against Jeffrey Chang. I know him because of my brother. They played in the finals for the senior world championships. And he was playing Blastoise, which is, retro deck. But it's actually good, right? Because people don't play Getses as much anymore.
Yeah, it gets this falling out of favor. Yeah.
Yeah, but I play Getses, and I was able to. I think I was able to use it game two, game one, or game one and game two. He wasn't able to get turn one Archies, so it helped in my favor. And then the Fighting Fury Belt on a big Yveltal was just really good. So I don't remember too much about that matchup. All I know is that like I was able to take a decent amount of prizes, and if he wanted, I remember this one turn where he extended and put all 8 energies on Keldeo to knock out my Yveltal with a Fury Belt, but I was able to return easily back and just knock out 2 energies on an Yveltal.
Yeah.
Um, that was a 2-0. Third round, I don't know his name, but I played against a Toad Garb, Salamence, Mewtwo, Jolteon.
That sounds wild.
Yeah. It's pretty much a Ninja Boy deck, but it
Okay.
was evolved around Toad Garb, and he played like Prism energies.
Huh.
So it was actually pretty scary because he led off with a Toad. So he went like Quaking Punch, Laser Flips, and then he would Ninja Boy into like a Jolteon. I was like, oh my god. So I just remembered playing as efficient and getting my Gallade out when he didn't Quake. Because I was always having like a bunch of like computer search trainer mouse battle compressors. So at the point where he Ninja Boyed into a Jolteon, I was like, okay, Gallade.
Hmm.
So that was a long game one. It was a 1-0. Fourth round, I played against Stefan Bates. He was playing Manectric Garb, and I couldn't get out my Gallades for both those games. And it was actually, yeah, I lost 0-2 because he was able to just like kill my Eevee just like easy. And then I think I did get Gallade at one time, and he was able to like trubbish me.
Hmm.
So,
Full drop. Yeah.
so I fortunately lost that game. Round five, I've been trying to remember it. I don't remember it, but it was a tie. I like so if whoever played me in round five, if you're watching this, please let Raul know so he can let me know. I don't remember. Round six, I played against Sammy Sosa, a really good friend of mine. He was playing almost a similar list, if not the exact list as Kenny. So I knew the list. He was playing Greninja. Game one, he wasn't able to be as fast, and I also got my Archeops out. So it was a pretty fast game. He actually scooped like in 10 minutes within the game. Game two, I knew that he just went really fast, and I couldn't get my Archeops in time. So that game also took like 10 minutes. And then game three, I was really fortunate because he actually used Frogadier's attack and priced 3 Frogadiers.
Whew. Three.
3 Frogadiers, yeah. So Sammy, I'm so sorry, but it worked out in my favor. So at that point, he was just like, "Well, I'm gonna try to bubble." but he could only like flip heads like maybe two out of like the 6 times he tried or something like that. So it worked out for me. Round seven, I played against Russell.
Hmm.
He was playing the carbing deck, so I was like figuring out like what does carbing do, you know? So I asked Israel, like he played it in the stream, so he told me like just try to like get Gallade out as opposed to Archeops because they play the Hex Maniac. So um, it was actually a really really long game one, and I thought I had it. He was actually drawing really poorly. I mean, all he did was literally just got like three carbing and carbing breaks on it, and he was max potioning, focus sashing it. So it was a really, really long game one where I just like tried just doing Breakbird and Gallade. And I didn't want to commit my Gallade quickly because he had a Zygarde. So I just literally Breakbird for 60 and then 60 on the Zygarde. And at that point, he didn't want to bring up his Zygarde because he would get knocked out by Gallade. So it was
Hmm.
just a long like exchange, but he got that because at one point I had like 60 on my Yveltal Breakbird, and I had like a I think that was my only attacker, and he was already up. He still had max potions and focus sash, and he had like two non like damaged carbings. So at that point, I was like, well, he doesn't. I don't think he has enough resources because he's slimming his deck down. He has like three cards left in his deck. So I just went for like the okay, I'm up by prizes. I'll just like try to deck him out kind of thing. And so I promoted my Evil 2X, let it ping, and I AZ'd it. But I was also decking out too, and I guess that didn't work for me. He won by me decking out. So, but it was a really bad matchup.
Yeah.
Like I didn't really know how bad the matchup was until then because he could just heal and Baby Bird doesn't do much damage to him. So he played Magnetic Storm, so he was able to do like 80 on me with the Carbink. So I lost that game. So at that point, I'm like X2-1, so I have to win my next two. So round eight, I played against his name was Michael Martin, really funny guy from Arizona. He was playing Trev, and my strategy was open big little and just attach energies and attack, and that's what I did. And so it was a pretty doable 2 games. It was really short too, so it was 2-0. And then ninth round, I played against. I think he's a senior that aged up. His name is Alex B. It was a long game one. He was playing Darkrai Mirror, like
Hmm.
literally Evil Galley Darkrai Mirror, and he seemed very confident with his mirror match. And I knew how to play the mirror match too. So you know, he was playing really fast, and I think one turn I don't know if he misplayed or not, but at that point where he did like misplay, I took advantage of it. Didn't want to overextend because I knew that he like wasted like three dark patches already, and so AZ was MVP that game, and I was able to take that long game one and game two didn't even finish on time. So I won my last 2 rounds, and at that point I'm 6-2-1.
Feels great going into day one. Day two, you squeak in with 6-2-1.
Yeah, I was 26th place.
Whew.
It sucked because my younger brother Patrick he aged up this year too,
Mhm.
and he was also 6-2-1, but he bubbled at 34th.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
it's wild thinking about how all the other regionals it was like 6-1-2 as the bubble, and this one's just like, all right, 6-2-1. Everyone have a good time.
Right? Yeah. So it worked out, I guess. I was able to make day two with my first big tournament this year.
Mm. You feeling pretty good?
Yeah.
Probably going into day two. Uh,
Yeah.
I just run us through day two then.
All right. So day two started. It was funny because I think Keon mentioned it in his interview. Me, Keon, and Kenny slept in the same room. So we all had dinner after day one, slept in the same room day two. They woke me up saying, "Kid, we gotta wake up. We gotta go down." I was like, "All right, let's do it." You know. And so day two happened. First round, I played against Trev. His name was Guillermo, I think. And same strat, open Evil EX. If I could get Gallade out, which I did turn one, then there was no way I was running out of energy.
Yeah, because you keep
So,
stacking your deck. It's
exactly. So I was able to beat him in a long game one, and so that was fortunate. Uh, round two of day two, I played against a guy named Kier. He was playing Seismitoad Bats, which I used that deck last year at San Jose to win. So I knew the ins and outs of that deck, and I knew how crippling it was if I opened with a turn one Archeops. So he couldn't evolve his bats. He had a Detonate, which is pretty scary, but I made sure that he didn't. I didn't allow myself to get hurt that bad with Detonate.
Sure.
So I measured that up, and again, that was a long game one, and I was able to pull that out. Game three or round three, I played against another Trev. I don't know his name. It might be Christopher, but that was also an exchange. So I went first against Trev. So it's a really crucial,
Yeah,
you know.
going first.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know what I opened, but I was able to win game one very quickly. Game two, he red carded me, and I just wanted to. I scooped it up very quick so I could go to a game three, knowing that I'm going to go first. Game three, and I was able to take game three. So I'm 3-0 at day two. And then I knew that if I win my next one, I could ID in.
Yeah.
So I played against. His name was Trevor. Really cool guy. He was playing an Yveltal Maxis as well. Which, by the way, I was really fortunate, right? Because I'm hitting like Trevs, Toad Bats, and like mirror matches as opposed to like Carbings, Greninjas, and like there's a Nectric Garb, you know. So I was lucky enough to like avoid all that, and I didn't even want to face like Alex Cautious Sableye either. So like I was just like really fortunate. So anyways, round four, played against mirror match. Long, long, long game one. Really long game one. Like literally, it was like up to like 5 minutes till time was called. But again, I knew how to play mirror match. I knew that like late game is where you want to strive for, and that like if they attack with you, if they attack first with Baby Bird, then all you gotta do is make sure you don't bench any EXs and attack them with an Yveltal EX active.
Hmm.
So I knew the ins and outs with that mirror match, and I was able to take that long game one, and game two he knew that like time was gonna be called. So and then round five I played against Keon and we both ID'd.
Hmm. So you just had a red hot streak day two going 401.
Yeah.
Coming at the bottom, you're like, all right, easy, easy day two.
Oh man, I don't know if I was easy day two. I was just hoping that I didn't hit like the matchups I didn't want to hit.
Right, there's
I
three
got I
carvings
got
floating
really
around.
yeah, three carvings floating around. You got like the fairy decks. There was like a Mega Guardy Rainbow Road.
I saw a Whale Lord that made day two.
Yeah, so I mean I was just fortunate enough,
Hmm.
about like not hitting those matchups.
So all right, now you're in top eight. You're playing against Israel Sosa. A lot of
Mhm.
people probably watched that game, but talk to us what was going through your head during that game.
Yeah, it was really fun. The top eight was full of people that I know, and it was really bittersweet that I had to play Israel because we both are really good friends. We're part of like the same like sponsorship. So it was really cool. So we were on stream. It was like my first time on stream that weekend, and so we started. And game one, he was able to get to me, and at that point, all I had to do was really pray for a top deck, you know. And so I think at one point I did top deck like a Juniper or something, but he was able to take a really early lead. With
Hmm.
that being said, like he was committing to baby birds with two Evitals of one energy on it, and so throughout the game I was really playing from behind, using my AZs optimally, knowing that like he's already up 6-3 prizes, and so all I had to do was literally no don't bench any EXs until like his baby birds are like not a threat anymore, and really just attack with baby birds or galleys. And I remember, if I can recall, I put out two galleys, both game one and two. And so it was literally me preventing him from like taking the last like two prizes. So Gallade went to work. AZ and Gallade were like the MVPs of that match play.
Hmm.
And so literally game one and game two play out the same, where I was playing from behind. And I don't know, I was able to pull it off. I was able to pull it off, and he's a great player. But I was able to really just like strategize my board position,
Hmm.
and really know that like if he's attacking with Baby Bird really early, I have to make sure don't bench any X's or like my shamans are gonna be a threat, you know. So I just you have to realize you're playing a long game one, game two, and you have to prolong those games by playing one prize attackers.
I just remember I was watching the game from home and I was like, Mark's down like 6-2 prizes. How is he gonna make the comeback? And I look at your board and I'm like, there's two Galids. How is Israel gonna take those prizes?
Yeah, I think if I can remember, like I went out of that game and then like everyone was like, dude, we told ourselves that you should scoop game one. I was like, nah, it's okay. So I was feeling really good. I was feeling really, really good.
Yeah, now you're in top four versus Keon. Talk to us
hmm
about that one.
Again, Keon's another well-known name. He's a great guy, and he knows how to play his decks. He's been consistent. So we were playing almost identical lists, but I played two shamans as opposed to him playing one shaman.
Hmm.
So that helped me game two. But game one, I was able to go first. I was able to get to him, um, and just take a commanding lead and not really, waste too many resources early game, but was able to just play conservative in the beginning while attacking him. So I was holding on to like my VS Seekers. I had Lysanders on my. I had a Lysander in my discard pile. So every time he did pose a threat, I would make sure Baby Bird would like optimally like do 60 and then 60 on an EX because you never want to attack with the Baby Bird and just like do 60 on an active. You want to make sure it's hitting something on the bench too.
Hmm.
And so I was able to do that. There was one turn where he, well, I wouldn't want to say he misplayed, but we both didn't catch it. Neither the judge caught it until like after he played it. So what had happened was he played his whole hand down. He had three bench, but I parallel citied him that turn. He Maxies, and then he was drawing his cards, and I was like, wait a minute, you can't Maxies. There's a parallel city, and you have a full bench. And then he was just like, oh dang, like and he just like scooped like away. So at that point, he scooped game one. Game two, he went first, and he opened Sableye Pass. And I opened a floatstone. Luckily, my one floatstone, I attached it to an Yveltal in the active. I was able to get like a Yveltal on the bench as well. Attached a DC, and then two shamans and a juniper to fish out my dark patch. And so I was able to get the dark patch after the juniper. So I shaman one didn't get it, shaman two didn't get it, juniper finally hit it. So I was able to take that 2-0.
Feels good. Now you're in the finals against one of your, I guess, really good friends, Kenny. He's playing
Yeah.
Greninja. How do you feel going in?
I was more hyped that it was me and Kenny in the finals. Me and him talked like, about like everything the week before. We really tested each other like the whole last year. Like we're just like super close friends. So it's just like super exciting that me and him are in the finals. So he definitely deserves to be in the finals because he's had multiple runs where he's got top four or like multiple top cuts, but he just hasn't been to that final push. So I'm just super, super hyped that me and him were, in the top two.
All right, run us through that game. I know a lot of people probably watched it, but let's
Yeah.
hear you talk about it.
Yeah. So, my whole strategy in the for Greninja match is get Archeops no matter what. Like Kenny actually teched a lot against Archeops, I knew that he needs to fish out those pieces in order to get what he wants. And it helps out that game one and two he didn't start with Talonflame at all. He started with Froakie. So I knew at that point like I could take my time, like maybe between 2 to 4 turns, to get Archeops out. And so that was my strategy. And so he did his thing, got like Frogadier and then like played Frogadier's attack. But I knew that game one, um, I'd have to get my Sableye out quick. So that way I could junk cut and then for sure get my Archeops out.
Hmm.
And so that's what I did. I was in game one. I had the ability to attack with Yveltal, but I retreated and just Sableye. And at that point, after that turn, he didn't end me. I got my Arceus out, and I was able to just like kill Greninjas. You know, kill his one Greninja. He bubbled, which sucks that I don't play Keldeo or like Olympia or PCL. So, but I knew that Archeops 100% you need to get it out no
Hmm.
matter what. So it doesn't matter if you want to take a commanding lead. Late game he could still beat you. So Sableye Junk Hunt was like my play that I had to do. So game one I did that. After I delinquent him in like mid game, he scooped. And in game two, it was really close because I didn't get Archeops out maybe like turn four or turn five, but I still kept the strategy. And I think at one point I even like Fury Belt my Sableye so that way Moonlight Slash can't knock out the Sableye. So because he did a really good job. I junk hunted computer search Ultra Ball, he end me. Next turn computer search again, he end me. You know, so there was one turn where he whiffed the M, and I was able to get the Archeops out. And at that point, just load up a big Yveltal, and then just commit on attacking Greninjas or Greninjas breaks. And
Hmm.
that's what I did, and it really worked out in my favor.
Yeah, it definitely worked out considering you won. All
Yeah, yeah. So
right. So you picked up a big win of the season for your big first tournament of the year. How
yeah,
does it feel, I guess?
it feels good. It feels good. I was really happy winning. The first tournament that I played in. Um, it was really fun because I played against like all my friends, Israel, Keon, and Kenny, and so it's good because like we all deserve to be there. So
Hmm. Yeah, all of you guys are considered some of the best on the West Coast. So
yeah,
it was no surprise when everyone saw the top eight to see a bunch of big stacked names, and everyone's like, "Man, that cut's stacked."
yeah, yeah, yeah. So it worked out. It was worked out. It was a super fun weekend. I think I'm more hyped about like just like hanging out and like actually like playing the game.
Hmm.
So it just feels good after like not playing for like maybe 5 months.
And getting back into the grind of things. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
All
yeah.
right. So what's next for you? Where can the people, I guess, expect to see you for upcoming tournaments?
Man, I wasn't really trying to play this year. A lot of people messaged me and like even commented on my Facebook saying like, "Hey, I thought you retired." But a lot of like the reason why I would play a lot the past few years is because like my brothers would play.
Hmm.
And so like it motivated me to play and like do good. And so I think my little brother and I are still gonna be trying to be somewhat active. We for sure want to do Seattle in May. I'm actually working right now. Really, I'm an accountant, so like we're working tax season, so it's like super busy, and we might have to work Saturdays.
Hmm.
So like whatever I can. If there's a tournament on a Sunday, I'm trying to push to go to SoCal regionals, and maybe Oregon, but I'm not trying to do like League Cups as much, or like flying to like I don't know Australia or something. That's hella expensive.
Yeah,
So,
that is really expensive.
are you going to Australia?
I looked it up and I'm gonna try, but like a plane ticket's like 1,400, 1,500 bucks, and I'm like I'm a college student.
Yeah, dude. I'm a college student. I don't know if I can afford that. I still gotta pay my loans and books.
Yeah. Uh, well, I'll leave you with any shout outs, anything you want to say to everybody.
Yeah, for sure. Well, shout out to the Chaos Gym, man. You guys do a really good job. Like all these up and coming like YouTubers, like it's really good for the community because one, it sets a tone for like what decks and what metas to expect, and a lot of people don't have time, like me, to figure out what's the play. So you guys really help us out. Shout out to the people that helped me out the most. Kenny, he's my boy. John, Ruben, Patrick. And even my boy, I don't know if you remember him, Christopher Nean,
Yeah.
funny guy. So I want to shout him out too because he hasn't been playing. But also shout out to like everyone who went. I don't want to like shout out like all the names 'cause I don't want to exclude anyone. But people from Cali, NorCal, SoCal, and Arizona, and Russell, and Sam Chen. They're all funny. And then shout out to like MTG. They rep me big. So
All right.
that's
Thank you so much for being on here, and congratulations once again.
Dude, thank you, man. Whatever you guys need, if you guys want like a guest appearance on one of those discussions, you let me know.
Dude, I'm in, definitely.
Let's do it.
All right, thank you so much, dude.
All right, peace, man.